just say a warm welcome so that you can.
So, today we're going to speak about, first of all, who loves stories? I love stories. We're going to start with a story. It's called It Takes Two to Tango. Okay? Then we're going to speak about organizational project management as an introduction, because PMOs are very much attached to OPM. Then we're going to talk about why do projects fail. Then, again, I believe Mustafa covered a great deal of why we need a PMO. Then we're going to speak about how, and finish with the people. So let's start. This is me. We already know each other. And who is the hero, first of all, before our story? The project manager or the organization? Who succeeds with the project? Whom do you think? Organization. Anybody says the project manager? You say the project manager, not the organization. Okay.
Project manager is the hero, I think.
Is the hero. Okay. You think he's the hero also. Or she. Okay. Okay. He or she. Okay. Okay. We'll be fair. Okay. If we are in Canada, we say she or he. Or they kill us. So, we're going to speak about this in a while. Now, our story takes two to tango. Okay? It's a project management story. And within story, I brought with me three persons. The first is Jad. Jad is the director, or the sponsor, if you like. Then we also have the poor project manager, Sam. Okay. And then we have Farid. He's the project leader, okay? Or the more seasoned project manager, okay? So how does our story go on? Now, Jad, he has his own business and he wins a contract. So he wants to execute this contract. So he goes and assigns Sam. Sam is happy because he's assigned as a project manager for a big contract in the beginning. Now, the first thing PMI talks about in the PIM book, you know the PIM book, the Project Management Body of Knowledge, is we start with a charter. And inside the charter, what does Jad put? Cuffs. They always tell you you are responsible, you have to deliver, but no resources, no decision making, no support, but you have to deliver. We cuff you and you have to swim. Now when Sam sees the cuffs, he's sad, okay? Because he knows he cannot do much. And he speaks to Jad, but no. Jad knows it all. He's the boss. You cannot negotiate with the boss. You go outside. So Sam tries his best. He is PMP certified. He's a good guy. He works overnight, tries as much as he can. But eventually, when you have cuffs, what happens to you? Project is delayed. Okay, over budget, and you fail. And when you fail, what do they do to you? They kick you out, okay? Because management, top management, they never do mistakes. They are always right, huh? Okay? So we bring a victim, we cuff his hand, he fails, we throw him out, then we look for another victim and call him project manager. Now the other victim, okay, because eventually Jad, he wants the contract to be executed, or else he will not get the money. So he goes and looks for a more seasoned project manager, and this time it's Farid. Now Farid is thinking, the first thing, if you are brought in as a replacement to a project manager, you ask, why did the other guy go? Why did they kick him out? Okay, would that happen to me? So he started to think, and as soon as Jad brought in his charter with the cuffs, what's the feedback of Farid? Farid says no. He's not negotiating his package and salary, this is something else. He's negotiating the delegation, the empowerment, okay, the capability to succeed, to tango. So he says no. My charter has three things in it, and we're gonna speak about these three things. Now, it's not easy to say no to Jad, and Jad usually does not accept no, but he's compelled, he has to deliver, number one. Number two, Farid is more experienced. Okay? You know, in types of power, there's expertise. When you have more experience, people start to listen to you more. So he said, the first thing in my charter, in condition, is defining the sponsor role to support Farid. It's not what I will do to make the project successful. It is the executive management. What will you do to enable me to succeed? We need to define this. Number two, we need to agree on specific delegation. What power will you give me? What budget can I move? Okay, what can I do with the resources? Can I get the resources that I need? You ask for 20 specialized engineers with 20 years experience, they give you 5 fresh graduates. This is real life, okay? So if I want to compromise, there is a gap. How do we cover the gap? Is there budget for training? Is there an external consultant? Somebody providing mentorship? At least a couple of seniors? You start to negotiate these things. You cannot be, you know, there was a movie called Yes Man. The guy who says yes for everything, okay? You cannot be a yes man if you want to be a successful project manager. The other day I saw a nice quote. If you want to make everyone happy, go sell ice cream, okay? In project management, it's not about getting people happy, it's about getting results. So to get results, we have to get support first. And delegation, you cannot delegate me, okay? Mustafa, you delegated Mustafa to my team. Then you come and tell Mustafa what to do as if I'm not here. This is not delegation. This is telling Mustafa, my role does not matter. You should not listen to the project manager, because whatever he says, we can veto him at any time. Proper delegation means you shall not speak to Mustafa except through his manager. And if Mustafa goes directly to you, you bring him back to me. Okay? This is how we start to do some delegation and empowerment. And number three, capacity building. Why capacity building? Training the people. Okay? I've worked in all types of projects, and in many cases they bring the top management companies in the world. These people, they have lots of consulting experience, but they come in with their knowledge, they deliver, they walk out back with their knowledge. And what happens after they walk out? System collapses. So what about how do we do knowledge transfer? Okay? To keep on sustainability, keep on whatever we deliver working after this foreign consultant goes away. So we need to do lots of capacity building, and we need to look also at JAD. Why? When we look at lots of project management training, you find lots of senior people, lots of technical people, middle managers, but you rarely find C-level. So eventually, there is a lot of knowledge they don't know about project management. They need to learn this. Now, the hard way, JAD agrees, and because they agree, they succeed. And the project is successful. So proper executive sponsorship makes or gets you to succeed. We're going to take a very small exercise in a while after doing the introduction on OPM about this. So welcome to organizational project management. Okay? Not alone the project manager. Okay? He's usually handcuffed. We have to support him. So the very quick introduction is that in organizational project management, we have project, program, and portfolio. What is a project? You know all what project management is. Very quickly, we have 5 processes. We initiate a project, we plan, we execute, we control, and if in control we find things are not going well, if the plan is not good, go back to planning. If execution is not good, go back to execution. Until plan, execute, control, execute, repeat, finish, got the result, close, and move on. This is simply project management within the 5 process groups. Of course, there is 10 knowledge areas and 49 processes. You learn this in the project management body of knowledge. We're not going to cover this today. Then, if we talk about mega projects, like projects done for oil and gas sector, for example, and large companies, we have what they call phase gates. They don't move from one phase until there is a body, a governance body that reviews and accepts and does risk assessment. Everything is fine for initiation, for design, procurement, construction, then commissioning and handover. This becomes part of the methodology of how to deliver. The second thing, quickly, program management. What are programs about? Projects provide deliverables. I provide you a box in project management. Programs provide benefits. You know, out of the operation room, the doctor came out and he said, I have good news and I have bad news. Now the good news, operation succeeded. Bad news, patient died. Okay? It happens that projects can succeed, but organizations do not. Why? Perhaps we have an excellent project manager. Perhaps the one who selected which investment or project to do should have done something better. Perhaps we delivered a rig, like a huge airport, but not the capability or the skill to run it properly or to optimize it, okay? So there are things beyond just delivering the boxes or the deliverables. Reaping the benefit, okay? Providing sustainable benefit, this is all about program management. It's about benefit management. Also, there are themes like governance, strategic alignment, integrated life cycle, and stakeholder management. I'm not going to speak about this because each topic requires 5 days. Okay, just an introduction. And in program management, we have projects, operations, sub-programs with a matrix, each one providing a specific benefit. When we accumulate all these, we have the program benefit that provide the sustained benefit to the organization. Which means you operate, operation succeeds, and patient lives, inshallah. So programs have a life cycle. There is a definition. When funding is approved, we have a program manager, we establish a program management office. Delivery, this is where we initiate project charters. Under the program, we initiate projects, different projects, and each project provides a specific benefit, and we get the benefit. And once we sum them up, when they are completed, then we can close the program. And within a program, we also have a set of processes. We're not going to cover this today. And a benefit life cycle. We identify the benefit, we analyze, and we deliver, we transition, and we sustain. Okay, it has a full methodology, and our expert in benefit realization management, Mr. Hafiz Oglu, can tell you more about it because he was part of the people who talked more about benefit and explained benefit in the new standard by PMI. And it's a very hot topic nowadays. Why hot topic? Because governments, and I work a lot in Saudi Arabia and in other countries, they don't just want you to provide deliverables, they want results, measurable results. Then portfolio management. Portfolio management is the way to realize your strategy using projects, programs, and operations, all three together. It's about value. Can we get the value? And if we achieve the value is different from one organization to the other, then we realize our strategy. So we have the strategy, and under it, to realize it, we might have projects, programs with projects, programs with sub-programs with their projects, sub-portfolios with sub-programs and projects, and operations. When they all work together to realize the strategy, this is a portfolio. So under the portfolio, we have this structure, sub-portfolio, projects, programs, and also other operations. Now in portfolio, it's a different management system. It's not like the PIN book. And within portfolio, we have a life cycle, and we have 6 performance domains. We initiate the portfolio, we plan the portfolio, execute, and optimize. I'm not going to explain this because, again, if when I speak about portfolio, we need 3 full days. Nevertheless, the domains are strategic management, governance, capacity and capability management. This is very important. This is why we fail or why we succeed, because of the resources. Then stakeholder engagement, value management, okay, and risk management. These are the different domains. And to connect portfolio to project and program, what happens in initiation? You do a feasibility or a business case. And in case you find that this investment is important to realize the strategy of the organization, then what do? Within planning, here is where a charter is born. And the charter, which is the first process in the PMO, this is where it comes from. In 2006, I did my PMP, and they started with a charter. I had a very big problem then. Where does this charter come from? You know, in the cartoons, because I love cartoons, they give you anything from behind their back, anything you want. So the charter came behind the back of someone. Who, where, how? It came from here. There is something before the project, and there are things after the project. Projects do not exist in silos and cannot be managed as silos. They exist for a purpose, and the purpose comes from portfolio management. Then within execution, we have processes for monitoring and control. We provide performance records and KPIs. To whom? To the portfolio level. We provide, they see the health check. Are we good or not? Should we still receive the organizational assets and investment, or should they, for example, kill the project or program? There's something here called kill the project. If you go for the PFMP, Portfolio Management Professional, one of the most important themes they ask about, what is the most important thing a portfolio manager does? And the answer would be to kill a project. If you have a basket of apples, and there is a bad apple, a rotten apple inside, and you keep it inside, what does it do to the other apples? It infects them. After some time, you have to throw the whole basket, okay? So we do here critical decisions. And these people, they don't necessarily have a PMP. It's a different management system. In organization project management, we're talking about multiple management systems, each doing his role properly. If we have these synchronized properly, our projects will succeed. Previously, the old standards of PMI used to say, okay, we have a vision, we have a mission, we have organization strategy. Then under it, there is management of operation and management of projects. And management of projects manages programs and projects, and these manage operations, and they use the shared pool of resources within the organization. Nowadays, focus is on value, because this increases the value, this produces value. The main difference is that they said no. Portfolio management manages both programs, projects, and operations. It takes two to tango. You need somebody to provide a new capability, and you need somebody to use the capability to realize the benefit and the value. You need two arms, the operation and the project. So, to sum things up together, portfolio management is about what? Doing the right things. Project management is about doing things right. If you only do project management, do things right, but not the right things, what happens? Operation succeeds, patient dies. Okay? You have to have both. And it's not the same people. These are different than those. Different stakeholders, different management system, but they have to work together to support each other. Each doing his role properly, the organization will succeed. Program management is about sustainability of benefits. So these are the three components within organization project management. Add to it, I'm not going to talk a lot about this because Alvin will cover the maturity, but in terms of organizational maturity, we have knowledge, assessment, and improvement. What is the best practices we want to implement? We assess to know where we are, what is the gap, what is missing, then we do improvement in cycles. And here, one of the important things to focus on is that knowledge in project management, and specifically from PMI, is not only the PIM book. Okay? Many organizations capitalize only on the PIM book and they fail because it does not include everything. Why? The book says human resources. Have you ever seen a project manager who is capable to hire and fire on his own? Never. Can he allocate the resources from the different departments on his own? Never. There is cost and budget. Have you ever seen a project manager who is able or capable to use the funds that he needs? Never. Approve the changes on his own? Never. Then how can he succeed? He's an orchestrator. He needs to link with those in the organization who have these resources, orchestrate for the project to succeed. And the knowledge for this orchestration and the other roles is found in portfolio standard, program, OPM maturity, organizational project management, and multiple other standards. Where's the governance? This one, the one you work on, okay? Governance for portfolio program, and there are much more. So the knowledge is there, yet most of the people, most of the organizations only know the PIM book. It's not enough. Now, Einstein once said, if he wants to solve a problem, he makes sure he understands what the problem is first. So before we start, this is only an introduction. Sorry. About the problem before the exercise. The assessment, or the OPM3 assessment, to learn our weaknesses, our strengths that we utilize in organizational project maturity model, which is evidence-based. We use that, and if we are successful, OPM3 or the maturity will help us bridge between organizational strategy and successful projects. So, our exercise today is the following. This is one of the very famous statistics. And it was done using over 5,000 projects worldwide. And the conclusion, why do projects fail, came out. 25% organization feel lack of cooperation or buy-in. The second reason, inadequate senior management commitment involvement. Then following, no methodology or plan. And 14% inadequate budget, insufficient resources. 11% tried to change too much at once, did not prioritize. KPIs not set, 10, and poor implementation, 3. So what I want each one of you, quickly please, on the piece of paper, just to select who is accountable. Today we're gonna point fingers, okay? Who is responsible for each type of failure? The project manager, or the executive director, top management, sponsor, whatever, okay? Who is responsible for each one? I want each one to work and give me a number. Let's talk about the results. Whom of you have project manager has more than 50%? Can you raise your hand? More than 50%. Okay, what's your number for PM?
75.
75, yours?
100.
100% PM?
Yes.
Okay. There's nobody more than 100? Okay. Right. Whom of you have less than 50% for PM? Yani more than 50 for executive director? Okay, who has a very high number there? Yes, what's your number?
55.
55. Who has higher?
60.
60. Who has higher?
60.
60. Highest thing is 60. Okay? 1, 2, 3, you win. Bidding. What's your number?
Almost 80.
Almost 80. Okay, you're my guy. Let me tell you why. When you talk about organizational field, lack of cooperation or buy-in, I intentionally did the whole introduction about OPM and the story for you to take a step backward and look at things from perspective of our organization. When there is the definition for the project, do you have a project manager assigned yet? At the beginning, in the inception, when you do feasibility and business case and make these definitions, do you have a project manager yet? You do not have it. So how can he be or she responsible, okay, for things in the definition before he or she were assigned? So definitely it goes where? To the other side. Inadequate senior management commitment and involvement. These are the people who put the cuffs. And our poor Sam asked to remove the cuff, but they did not listen to him. Okay? So whose responsibility it is it? Again, it goes to this side. Then, no plan or methodology. If there is no plan, why in the world did I hire a project manager? His role is to make a plan. So this goes to who? Project manager. Then, inadequate budget, insufficient resources. Do you ever believe a qualified project manager will not ask for what he or she needs? They will request. They will ask. Have you ever seen a project whereby when we ask for something, we get it? We don't get it. This is the norm of the world. You ask for that much, and they give you that much. And you have to struggle. Welcome to the world of project management. It's not an easy world.
Yeah.
So if they don't give me what I need, whose problem is it? Again, these people. Then, try to change too much at once, did not prioritize. Again, this happens where? The selection happens where? The prioritization happens where? In the portfolio management, in the inception, before there is even a project manager. And KPI is not set. Who sets the KPI? Have you ever seen a project manager who assigns himself? Okay? Asil San, your company? Yeah. Okay? Can I assign myself a project manager in Asil San? No. Okay, I can, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sad. But this is the way of the world. You have to be assigned, you have to be selected from top management. And when they select you, they set the KPIs, the key performance indicators. They tell you what you should do for us to consider you as a successful project manager, a successful project. Yes?
Strategic management, strategic planning manager do this.
Yes.
KPI.
Actually, you do portfolio management. Whether you call it portfolio or not, this is portfolio management. Exactly. So this is the responsibility of top management.
Yes.
Poor implementation. He did not execute properly. Project manager. So if you sum them up, 19%, 81. The 80-20 rule. 80% of the reason of failure comes from management. Comes from those who have resources, who have the power, and only 20% from the poor project manager, and vice versa. When there is a success, 80% because of the successful organization. This is why, my friends, we never practice absolute pure project management. We only practice organizational project management. I'll tell you one specific situation where you can practice the PIM book without anything else. You are a millionaire, and you decide to invest $100 million on a project, and you decide to manage the project with your own money. Okay? In this case, you are the sponsor, and you are the top manager and the project manager. So you ask yourself for permission, and yourself gives you permission. Otherwise, these are different people and different systems. So, why do PMOs fail? This comes from a study from it took 10 years from a professor in Canada, and he found out that in the first year 25% fail, in the second year 50%, in the fourth year 25%. The main reason they failed to define the why. So, lack of executive support. Previously, PMI used to tell us success means finish on time, scope, budget. Lately, they said, okay, we've seen projects that finish on time, budget, and scope. But if they don't provide a benefit or value, or good change to the organization, how good they are. So there are things that are missing. This is only 1/3 of the success. We need two other things. We need leadership and we need business acumen. Leadership, why? Since we agreed they will never ever give you the needed resources, the only way is that the people working with you feels the project is their cause. They don't look at time, 9 to 5, I go away. No, it's my project. The success is my success. I own it, it's my company. I stay even if I have to stay overnight. Nobody tells me or commands me. And this only happens when you have proper leadership, not only management. Like a manager tells people to do. A leader gets people to do what he wants them to do, gets them to select from their own. And whenever you are asked from your own, I give you my eyes. Okay? Compel me, command me, I give you nothing. Okay? Turkish, Arabs, Middle Eastern, I will never give something by force. Yes? Okay? But treat me well, I give you everything. I'll be happy about it. So, business acumen. Now this is about strategic alignment. Why in the first place we have the project? How will it serve the organization? How will it provide sustainability? We need to understand these and agree with top management on the business acumen. If we have this, our projects will succeed. The other reason, PMOs, when they started, they focused a lot on methodology. Do you know the old Britannica encyclopedia, which is 27 each one? You can use them for bodybuilding. Okay? And have you ever seen a methodology like the Britannica? And the project manager comes to me and tells me, you want me to manage the project or work with the methodology? Okay? This is wrong everything. The methodology should be simple, not include micromanagement to the detail, to allow room for project managers to innovate and to utilize their experience. Some level of freedom will get you wonders and will get you them to own the final results. But if you have something very much detailed, they will work according to all details and will not give you a result because there is no room to think. This is knowledge work, it's not labor. And in knowledge work, you have to allow people to think and come up with answers. Sorry. So, ineffective methodology. Okay, I have some t-shirts like this, but I will not tell you. Then, lack of focus on people and competencies. Okay? Now, he's talking if the change outside the organization and in the organization less than the change outside, the end is inside. Only question is when. Things change outside and we still like from 100 years cannot sustain. You have to change. And change starts with the people. This is the most important aspect in any project. Then PMO without authority. Look at this. No budget, no guideline, no support. Do in 15 minutes, show me you are a hero. Okay? And tell people always, I'm a good project manager, I'm not Merlin the magician. Okay? So don't ask me to do magic. Governance, accountability, delegation, and responsibility. Now the role or the value of PMO is not understood, which Mustafa starts about it when he spoke about why PMOs fail. I once worked in a PMO and literally they thought that I have Aladdin's lamp. Because after 1 month, they started to blame me for the projects that failed from 20 years. Literally. Okay? Why are they still failing? We brought you in. Everything should be successful. So here, we need to understand why we need the PMO. Is the PMO permanent or is it temporary? Is it controlling, facilitating the transformation or stabilizing? We need to do the strategic alignment, ask the question why, then the what and how will follow. And our model for that, okay, our friend, focus on the solution. Now comes the solution. The thing is that in many cases, before providing the solution, if you have a cup, and the cup is filled with something you don't need, can you fill it with clean water? No, you have to unfill it, you have to clean it, disinfect it, then fill it with clean water. So, come to the solution. After working on so many different, actually PMOs in different countries, different industries, I and my group found out that we have around 10 different structures, 10 different PMOs. Not every PMO is just, do processes, software, train people, and we are ready to roll. Why do we need the PMO? You need to ask 3 questions. The first, are you directing or controlling? Directing like you are doing portfolio management. You are selecting You are working very close to the C-level. You are working on realizing the strategy. Controlling, you are inside with the engineers and providing the technical data. You cannot be both at the same time. You cannot have an office that manages programs, portfolios, projects simultaneously. Why? Simply, they speak to different types of people. Okay? The one who speaks to the CEO is very different than the one who speaks with the workers on the site. Different language, different methodology, different tools and techniques, different objective. Now the other dimension is, are we trying to change and transform the organization or sustain whatever we have? And the third, whatever we do, is it permanent or temporary? The first one is the Strategic Management Office. Strategic Management Office, they do not manage projects. They decide which projects we should select in order to realize the strategy of the organization from one side, and they do the health check on the selected projects from the other. Someone else will do the execution. This is pure Strategic Management Office. I believe it might be like yours. And this will implement not project management at all. They will implement portfolio management. Then we have the Transformation Program Management Office, which aims to change the organization from state A to state B according to a strategy set here. Which means you might have, if you are talking about a huge organization or a ministry, it is possible to have a strategic office near to the CEO or the chairman, and to have another transformation office that manages the change. Now, a specific model for Saudi Arabia, it was born 2 years back, which is the VRO, for the ministry, Vision Realization Office, because they found each ministry has to do the strategy and has to change. So they combine these two in one function. They called it what? VRO. I'm showing you models. I'm not telling you which model is best for you. There is no one size that fits all. You discover what is best for you. One of the very nice things, because I worked in Makkah for 4 years on their PMO for municipality, which managed a portfolio of 440 projects and programs, 200 consultants, contractors, worth 8.5 billion Saudi riyal, which is almost 2.5, 2.7 billion dollars. And what we came with, we learned something from the local culture called Ahlu Makkah adra bishi'abina. The people of Makkah knows Makkah best. Also, the people of Istanbul knows Istanbul best. Which means any setup should come from you. Somebody who is an outsider can only ask good questions if he's smart or she. Okay, but the solution always comes from within. If it comes from within, it is the right one. If it comes from outside, you cannot just take a copycat of what's going in the States and do it here. But they were successful, but it's a different culture, different regulations, different objectives. It cannot be just copycat. Then there is the corporate PMO. The corporate PMO, this is the PMO, the standard that manages multiple projects, multiple programs, multiple subcontracts, and each big one might have a PMC, a project control office. So if you're building, for example, several buildings for the municipality or a bridge or road or whatever, the projects which are large, like several hundred million, each one will have its own PMC. So you have 5 or 6 big ones, and you control them from one corporate PMO. PMCs are on site. PMO is where? Inside. To set the right governance starts from here. To understand what each structure does and for what purpose, okay, starts from here. Then there is the integrated PMO, PMC. We did this for Ministry of Finance. There's the department PMO, which focuses on sustainability, like PMO for IT projects, for example. Only serves the IT department. Then there is the public-private partnership, which is booming right now everywhere in the world, simply because governments don't have enough money to provide all the services. So they partner with the private sector, and they do a PPP program for 20 years. Build, operate, transfer, and after 20 years goes back to the government within an agreement. What is this? It is a program management office. It has its own structure, okay? Then there is the capacity development office, which focuses on resources, skills, competencies. I was talking about this to Aramco people in our PMI Saudi Arabia Summit symposium 2 days back. Then Knowledge Management Office, which is still under development, and Innovation Management Office, also still under development. So have all these structures. The first thing to do is to look at your organization, its needs, why you need the PMO, select which one of these. So if I know I'm gonna go directing, I need to learn portfolio management. If you're doing control, you don't need portfolio management. You see? So if you're gonna go for PPP, you need to have program management. And under the device projects, you need project management. So based on what you will do, this will help you decide the type of structure and decide which methodologies you need, which standards to use, which resources or competencies you have, and which one you need to get on board in order to deliver properly. And this is VRP, Visionary Program, that belongs to the VRP. Now, the last thing is the how. How do I establish my project management office? And for this, we have this professional services suite. Okay, if you look at it, you have initiation. You always initiate. And you have then organization development and operations, and they overlap. Do you know why they overlap? Because of agility. Back, like 10 years back, we had 1 year to plan. Then we start to execute and test. Now, you have 2 weeks, you have a month, and you need to give me something. And it is not supposed to be perfect, okay? But you wear the t-shirt, you know the t-shirt shoot here? The rounds for the bow and arrow. You wear this t-shirt when you are working agile, especially the first round, because you submit something and it's not right, and you know it's not right, but this is the right thing to do then, because you take lots of good feedback in, you process, then with the second iteration, you correct and provide something better. And then through multiple iterations, you achieve excellence. So, what do we do? Whenever this methodology of developing methodologies, you can use it for anything, not just to establish a PMO. If you want to establish any unit, any business unit, you can use this. So it's composed of 6 services, phases: assessment and gap analysis, organizational governance management framework, process development, improvement, re-engineering, then the software, the training, and the operation and rollout. So the first thing always to do is start with an assessment and gap analysis. Understand what we have, understand what we miss. Capitalize on the power we have and try to get what we miss. And here I just want to focus on one example. We work with an organization and they have lots of failing projects. So we need to understand. Use the Ishikawa. You know the Ishikawa?
Yes.
You know why they call it Ishikawa? There was a Japanese guy. He loved Japanese women. They married, they got the baby, they named him Ishikawa. When he was bigger, he discovered this now. So, fishbone.
Yes.
We started to ask questions, and after 2 months, we collected 50 reasons based on categories from the client, from the consultant, and we did a heat map because one of them, a 5 is not like a 1, severe causes or not. And after we did this, and we presented to the client, he saw that 80% of the reason of failure comes from him, from the client. They are the reasons why they fail. It's hard to admit, but that guy was a leader, the director, general. And when he admitted they are the reason of failure, he asked the $1 million question. Let us prioritize which problems we need to think about, which problems we need to solve first. Now we're coming up with a roadmap. Nobody can solve all the problems overnight. We agreed, we are not Merlin the magician. Okay? So we start with the big problems, focus on them, then the ones less severe, and so on. So we only understood who we are and what our problems are after doing what? An assessment. Now there are many tools. You are not supposed to use all these tools and techniques for everything. You select the right tool that's good for you. Then after that, you do the governance. You set the structure, the delegation of power. Okay? Where does it start? Where does it end? the integration of management frameworks, okay? And after you do this, like for example, governance goes from up to bottom in the lines. And reporting goes from where? Bottom to up. I give authority with the right hand, I take report with the left. You don't just give authority, they will steal you. Okay? I give him the authority to spend $1 million, I do an audit on how he spent the $1 million. Then process development, and one rule here is what? Simple is better. Okay? Simplify, people will love to use your methodology. Complicated, nobody will use it. Then after that comes the software, and this is a very important question, especially to IT people. What comes before? The software or the process? Process. But organizations, most of them, when they want to establish a PMO, the first thing they ask their IT people, and their IT people, if they are with Microsoft, let's get Microsoft. If they are with Oracle, let's get Oracle. If they are SAP, let's get with SAP. Then whatever provider starts to mandate how the organization will realize the strategy through projects. Wrong. Okay? Wrong approach. Then capacity building, which is very important to provide sustainability. Following operation and rollout, one of the most important things here is what? Process review and enhancement. You are not supposed to do things right from the first time. But from the second iteration, you can do things much better. So, after that, things will take time. You cannot be offended at me, you can be offended at Warren Buffett, he said that. Okay? So, to Bill Gates actually. It needs time. Maturity needs time. You cannot change people's mentality over time. Last thing about the people. Project management is about teamwork. Okay? It's not about the individual. The individual is power if his team is doing excellent jobs. And like Jobs, he says, and others, and the other guy, Ma, the Chinese guy, Alibaba, what's his name? Jack Ma. Yeah, he says, you can be a powerful leader by getting people smarter than you. And when you get people smarter than you, you don't tell them what to do, they will tell you what to do. This is beautiful delegation. Now, a team of people, nevertheless, this is real life. Have you seen the movie? Yeah. This guy does 99% of the work. Somebody has no idea, says he will help, somebody disappears in the beginning, shows in the end. These are our projects, and yet we are required to succeed. So we need to work on the people side. Now, Jeff, in one study across US, 100 cities, 100 jobs. We're talking about real data, the real data. The most reliable data that exists today. They looked at the skill gap today. Everybody's speaking about skill gap in 2020, 2025, 2030. This guy, and it was the CNBC interview 2018, you can look it up, it's on YouTube. Skill gap today, interpersonal skills, communication, collaboration. Most needed jobs today, account executive, sales, development, project management. Which means if you are working on project management today, this is the right thing to do. Now, of course, in this study, there is also a big need for computer science, cloud computing, AI, blah, 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 all the other things. We already know that. But what Jeff did not know before doing the study is the soft side, okay, the human side and the project management. So if this is a gap today, what would it be in 2030? Okay, even much more. All the disruptive technologies require people to manage them properly. If they want to replace us, we'll have to manage them. Okay? Actually, I attended lots of AI interesting sessions. back in the month, one of the companies wrote about the bots, and they used it as an assistant for a project manager, and now it does half of what we do. Okay. So the last question: what if we teach them and they go away? You need to focus on the people. You need to teach the people. And every time we teach the people, what they do happen to them? Maybe they go away, get a better salary elsewhere. So what does he answer him? What if you don't train them and he does not leave and they stay? So this is a dilemma. Teach them, they will leave. Don't teach them, they will stay, but they will be less of skill than what we need to deliver. And the solution comes from Richard Branson. Train them well, they can leave. Train them well enough, they want to stay. And by Richard, I'd like to end this. A little bit about our affiliates. We have affiliates in Saudi Arabia, USA and Canada, Africa, France, UAE, Lebanon. And now we have in Turkey as well. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Before having questions, I have a question. Could you please share your experiences about what was the greatest challenge that the PMOs you have worked with faced?
Okay.
The common greatest challenge.
Okay. Actually, it differs from one place to another, from one industry to another, to the other. But the most severe challenge, and the one which will become even more severe, resources, competencies, capability, capacity. Okay? Why? Look at our projects. I'm a process guy. I love a good process. I love a mature process. If you have the most mature process in your organization, and you have the best tools, but the senior, the quality people leave you, can you succeed in projects? Cannot. Okay. Organizations which do not have even a methodology, they work ad hoc, but they bring quality people with knowledge, and they provide support to them. Only these two factors, do they succeed in the projects? Yes, they do. They do. The challenge is sustainability. Sustainability requires institutionalization, building a system. This is why we try to implement organization project management, build a PMO, to make this not, you know, when you open the gas water, okay, or the Pepsi, it just goes out quickly and settles down. This is not what we want to look for organizations. We want sustainable results even after we leave. Okay? The organization, the company comes first, organization comes first, and country comes first. This is the mentality of sustainability. Okay? This is what good project management is about. We will leave now after some time. The people who will come after us should start from where we finished, not have to repeat the whole mistakes again and again and again. Okay, this is why we need to teach. We need to offer this. Now, everywhere in the world, the biggest problem is to find the qualified resources. Again, a dilemma. Why? Lots of unemployment, huge demand on skilled resources. You see? Two opposite things. They occur in every country. Well, one advice. If we can get more people to be skilled in, and when we say project management, it's not only project, program, portfolio, governance, procurement, quality, etc., the whole thing that helps us in proper delivery, then we can make employment less and be more self-sustainable. This is the problem I've seen everywhere.
Can we have some questions?
For software development projects, Agile is to be common all over companies. So how to define the collaboration of Agile teams with a corporate project management office or some other departments you mentioned?
Okay. You spoke about Agile.
Agile, yes.
Okay. Agile comes, the concept from the Japanese term shuhari. Shu is follow. Ha, master. Ri, break the rule. So being agile, they allow you to break the rule, but only after you do what? Master. It's not for the novice. If you bring fresh graduates and tell them work agile, it will be chaos. Wrong. Those who want to practice the agile mindset or methodology have to be very disciplined, very responsible, very accountable, because we are offering more delegation downstairs, okay? More power to do mistakes and learn from them before coming and escalating. Normal method, you escalate directly and people upstairs. No, there, you do something, you make a mistake, you learn from it, you do better. You cannot do this and put this in the hand of the novice. So when we're gonna build agile teams, this is one challenge, because we need to have more discipline inside each one of them, more mature, not necessarily senior. We had a guy who presented augmented reality. He wrote the software and they used it in Mercedes-Benz and Rolling Parsons on $4 billion project. He's less than 30 years old, 28 years, very young guy, okay? It's not about age, especially new technology. Actually, new technology comes from the new people, okay? Not the old like me. But they have to learn discipline, they have to be committed and highly accountable. So to spread this culture is not easy. This is a challenge, okay? Now once we have this, the PMO should understand the mindset, the top management should understand the mindset, the line manager should understand it, plus the agile teams, okay, with their leaders. If we have all these aligned, then we can say our organization is beginning to be agile. Because there is a huge difference between an agile team and an agile organization. Okay, it's a cultural shift. And what worries me are the 50, 60 years older people upstairs who say, yes, we will use agile. Why? Agile is a fancy word. If we say it, we look good. But they don't know what does it mean. It means that you should let go. And these people don't like to let go. Okay, you have to take it from them.
So can we say PMOs can arrange this collaboration between top management and agile teams? Can we say?
It could be a model. There is no one size fits all. It depends on each organization. There could be a moderator to promote this. It all depends on trust. Whom top management trusts most? Okay? One of the best things you can do in project management, your best commodity, your best value is your trust. Do they trust you? If people trust you, they will listen to you. If they do not trust you, even if you are saying something which is very right, very important, very needed, nobody will listen. Okay? So you are selling the commodity of trust.